We've got James here in the studio at Konk 1500 AM. You're listening to the Buzz and the Keys, the Pam and Rhonda show. James,
welcome back.
Pam and Rhonda, let's go.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here.
Rum, man. Let's go.
Yes.
So you wrote that song a couple years ago, you said?
Yeah, I did.
While you were here?
While I was here, I got inspired by hanging out my... I always
Dare we ask what inspired?
Well, you know, you can hear what inspired me. Some of it is fantasy, you know. Some of it is fantasy, some of it is reality. And I always get a bicycle when I'm here, and I love to cruise up and down the streets, you know, and I just take in everything.
People are friendly, aren't they?
Yeah, and I talk to people, and I get a lot of interesting ideas, and I ended up writing that song because I just love Key West, and recording it, and...
How many years have you been coming now? Have you been coming right from the beginning?
I've been in Nashville. I moved from Switzerland to Nashville in 2002. So from 2002 on, it's 8 years now I've been doing this festival.
And you always stay with our
Always
friends, Johnny and Peggy at the
Mango
Tree End.
Well, the Mango. I grew up in the Panama Canal Zone, even farther south than you guys live here.
Really?
Yeah, the Panama Canal, across Cuba, down to Central America.
Right, that. You were born in the U.S., though.
Born in North Carolina, but raised in the Panama Canal Zone.
Your mom was Spanish?
Yeah. My mom is Bolivian and British, and my dad's American, but he loves to sail and he loves the tropics, and so we ended up raising us down there. He wanted us to learn Spanish. So I'm very fond of mangoes and anything tropical. And so, you know, I live in Nashville. It gets cold up there. I like to come down here, and I stay at the Mango Tree.
I love Nashville.
So when did you come back to the States?
It was
college, high school?
College. I graduated high school. I came back like in '80, and then I went to college and University of Miami, actually nearby. Yeah, it had a really good music school. I spent a couple of years there, finished college there, went to L.A., then ended up in Europe, and now ended up in Nashville.
Well, you went to Atlanta too, didn't you?
Yeah.
And you penned the song "All I Want from Santa Is a Girl from Atlanta."
Yeah.
And I'd like to know about the inspiration for that.
I was in college in Miami, and someone said, "Hey, on Christmas break, do you want to go play with your band in Atlanta, Georgia?" I'm like, "Wow!" And I'd always heard about Georgia Peaches. I was 19 years old, you know, and so I said, "Okay, let's do it." And
not the fuzzy ones.
No, not the fuzzy ones.
Depends on which part of town you go to.
Exactly. So
Don't scare them, Pam.
I wrote, you know, this crazy song. All I Want from Santa Is a Girl from Atlanta. We got to Atlanta, and we played it in a bar.
Was that your first song that...
That was the first song. I was 19, 20, you know, in the middle of school, you know, and I wrote that song, came up to Atlanta, and we recorded it right away because everybody flipped out in the bars. And then it got on the radio right away, and we had a big old hit in Georgia with it. And that's when I said, you know, I think I need to be writing songs.
WSB's a big station down there, isn't it?
Man, it's been a while, you know. That's been a while.
I'm showing
at the
my
time,
age, too.
No. At the time, it was 96 Rock. Picked up that song.
Okay.
But I remember well because we were driving home in our little beat-up van, and we had given it to the radio station, and they'd kind of made fun of us, more musicians coming in to give them a song, you know.
Yeah.
But they played it on the way home. They said the phones were like, we played right after Led Zeppelin. And I'll never forget that feeling. They said, man, you guys got a hit on your hands. So
really?
I thought, well, I need to be doing this.
So you don't just do country songs, do you? Do
No. I'm doing a show Saturday at the San Carlos Institute.
Right here in Key West?
Yeah, right here in Key West. Saturday, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, killer show. There'll be a black grand piano there, and I play everything from New Orleans, boogie woogie, to rock, to everything. I mean, I write songs for Kenny Chesney, you know, Rascal Flatts, Jimmy Johnson.
You've had Grammy nominations on your songs,
too. Yeah, actually.
You had, High Cost of Living
High Cost of Living.
In My Daughter's Eyes a few years ago?
Yeah, High Cost of Living is a stone cold, country song, you know, but it's done with a great artist, Jamie Johnson. In My Daughter's Eyes is more of a, kind of almost a pop ballad for Martina McBride. So I'm just in love with the piano, and the show Saturday will be heavy on the piano.
And you can thank your mother for that, I guess,
huh? I can thank my mom, yeah.
She made you take the lessons, huh?
Yeah.
Were you cursing her at the time when you were a kid taking those?
14 years old. I wanted to quit the piano, but she was smart enough to say, look, just stick with it, and one day you'll thank me. And we had some serious arguments about that. But she got me a good piano teacher who showed me how to play not only classical, which I was getting very bored of at 14. She showed me how to play like songs off the radio. And at the time, Santana was popular.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody knows Oye Como Va.
Right.
Right.
You know, I learned that, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then I got in a band at 14, 15, and now, in fact, my mother will be at the concert Saturday with my dad. I'll bring her up on stage to thank her. I'm going to have her sing 2 songs for everybody.
Right.
Wonderful.
And she is amazing. She plays castanets, flamenco guitar, and sings in Spanish.
Wow.
Yeah, she'll be one of my guests.
Now, did you ever have any interest in picking up another instrument, or you just love the piano and stuff?
I've tried so many times. I play a little harmonica, you know, but like Bob Dylan style. But really, every time I try to pick up the guitar, there's a lot of guitar players in Nashville, I just 10 minutes on it and I go, no, I got to get back to the piano, because I will forever be trying to master the piano. I mean, I'm into, you know, Jerry Lee Lewis, Billy Joel, Elton John, Louis, Fats Waller. So I really study the piano, and to this day I'm practicing all the time trying to get better.
Well, last year when you were here, you did the piano at Mango Tree Inn.
I did, yeah.
You did?
They
It's
have
in our magazine. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. I
Travelhost.
love tickling the keys, which is what I'll be doing Saturday.
All right.
Figuratively and metaphorically. I think it's
Well, but are those keys and not the Scrub Club keys in your song?
For the record, I haven't actually been to the Scrub
That
Club.
almost burned down. They had a fire next door.
Really? Things
Well,
got
you
too
saw it
hot.
on one of your... Yeah, right.
Yeah, James.
I don't really even understand the Scrub Club, but it sure sounded good in the song.
I know. Well, it was
know.
perfect.
It's a far cry from Mr. Bubbles.
Yes.
It's amazing what you see when you're just riding your bicycle. And actually, you know what? That's a great idea because you can't just drive around this island. You miss most of it, and you miss the good stuff.
I tell everybody, really, the bicycle's the way. I lived in Europe for 7 years, and it's nothing for people to not have cars and to have bikes and ride the transit, you know? If you walk around this town or drive your bike, also late at night, it's a beautiful thing. There's a beautiful serenity to it, and you learn a lot. You see things you wouldn't normally see.
You've gone down to Mallory Square?
Of course, yeah.
Well,
I go
yeah,
down
that's-
there. But even the back lanes, you know, these little crazy, you know, by the cemetery,
cemetery?
by the naval base, by the naval base. Actually, I love Key West. I obviously have a love, you know, affair with this place. But the naval base reminds me of the Panama Canal Zone when America had the
Really?
canal.
That's
Where I grew
interesting.
up.
So it
It
feels
reminds
comfortable
me.
for you.
It just feels like back then.
Well, you know what, James? We're getting ready to go to break. We want to hear more about your travels because we know
Sure.
you've traveled all over Europe. You're listening to Conch 1500 AM, The Buzz and the Keys with Pam and Rhonda, and our special guest, James Slater.
And it's going to be on KonkTV tomorrow at 8:30.
That's
a.m.
right. Stick with us. We'll be right back after these messages. Lots more good stuff to come.